In today's video, it's a live session, and want to ensure that individual taxpayer they are fully ready for this Nigerian Tax Act 2025 that is coming into force this year 2026. It's just 2 days to the end of the year, and we are counting down. What individual taxpayer needs to know to maximize their tax, to maximize their tax. So that's what we are bringing to you in this video. So please ensure that you put in all the necessary things that will ensure that you are compliant in this Nigerian Tax Act that is taking place in 2 days' time. That's 1st of January 2026. So maximizing the tax benefits for individual taxpayers. That is the essence of today's live session video. We want to let individual taxpayer to be aware that when you are paying tax, you are not paying tax on your own income, on your own sales, on your own revenue. For individual taxpayer, of course, you are earning from your employment and from your side businesses. And before you can pay this tax, you must have, do computation. There's what we call computation. You are going to do computation before you file for your tax. So meaning that it is not on your total gross income that the tax authority will tax you on. No. So that is what we want people to understand. And remember that tax is law. Yes, tax is law. You cannot, avoid tax except you are not earning. If you are not earning, fine. You don't need to pay tax. It is people that are earning that will pay tax. So once you are earning, you just know that you are an eligible taxpayer. And when you are earning too, after the deductions, the statutory deductions, which is what we want individual taxpayer to be aware of, because there are some statutory deductions that will reduce taxpayers' tax liabilities, and ultimately it can help them to fall within the bracket of not paying tax. And then, of course, not paying tax does not mean that you are not going to file for tax. Filing for tax is one thing, paying tax is another thing. So filing for tax means that you are presenting your information, your income information to the tax authorities, that this is what I earn and these are all the deductions that I'm eligible for. So after those eligible deductions have been removed, so whatever is left for individual taxpayer, of course, if it's 800,000 that is left after the deductions, which of course for employees, we have pensions, we have NHF, we have NSITF, then of course we have like the insurance. So if you are paying all these statutory deductions, or maybe the place where you are working, they are removing all these deductions, definitely you are qualified to remove all these deductions before your actual tax payments. So you have your gross income, less pension, less NHF, less NSITF, less insurance if they are paying insurance for you. So these are all the statutory deductions. And then you have the rent relief, which is 20%. The rent relief is 20% or maximum of 500,000. So if your rent is 1 million annually, so the 20% is what you will qualify for, which is 200,000. And then if your rent is more than that, you are only qualified for maximum of 500,000. So you only have maximum of 5, so you cannot go beyond the 500,000 as your rent relief. So it is the rent relief of 500,000 that have replaced the consolidated relief allowance. So that is the clarity we want individual taxpayer to be aware of, that as we are going into 2026, being tax compliance is a strategy, is a win-win for you. Because if you are paying tax, of course, you'll be qualified to have your tax clearance certificate. And that tax clearance certificate is used to do so many things for yourself, to qualify for some, benefits, so to speak, that you may be enjoying from the government. Of course, you may be saying that, of course, there's nothing we enjoy from God, but probably your children want to enter into school or one thing or the other. You want to even get maybe some contracts or something. You can use your tax clearance certificate to get it. And you can keep your tax clearance certificate as well. You can keep it, and it will be useful for you one day or one time or the other. So as individual taxpayers, you are qualified after your gross income annually. You are qualified for the pension, to remove it from your income. So you have your, let's say for example you are earning 1 million naira, and then you are paying pension 8% for employee, because your employer is going to add 10% to it. So you have 8%, which you will deduct from your annual gross income. Then you have your NHF, then you have your NSITF, then you have insurance. So these are the statutory deductions that you can, enjoy. You can enjoy all these statutory deductions and then remove it to reduce your tax liability. Definitely, you can use it to reduce all your tax liabilities, which can still bring you to the threshold of not paying tax. Yes, it can bring you to the threshold of not paying for tax. And then remember, all these statutory deductions that have been removed to reduce your annual gross income in one way or the other is still your own. Like the National Housing Fund, NHF, the the National Health Insurance Scheme, NHIS, the pension, the Nigerian Social Insurance Trust Fund, NSITF. These are like 4 deductions, and of course insurance as well, that you can use to reduce your tax liabilities. So if you are earning 1 million and you have removed your insurance, you have removed NHF, NSITF, you have removed it. Then you have removed your pension as well. Then it will reduce, probably at the end of the 1 million annual gross income, all your deductions, at the end of the day, it falls to maybe 850. It falls to 850. And remember that from 800,000 and below, you are exempted. And after your statutory deductions, you're already at 850, and you still qualify for rent relief allowance, which has reduced which has already reduced your taxable income. That's reduced your taxable income. So it is favorable for you. It is favorable for you. So people being afraid of tax and this and that, you don't need to be afraid of tax. Just keep your record, keep your information. If you are in a paid employment, definitely your organization will be remitting your monthly payee for you. They'll be remitting your monthly payee for you. And if your organization is remitting pension, if they are remitting pension, definitely they are going to remit it in your pension number to maybe Stanbic, to any other tax pension house. They will remit it for you. And once it's being remitted for you, it is for you. It is your own benefit. It is your benefit. Yes, it is your benefit. And it is like you are investing into your future. Because when you work for like maybe 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, you will definitely retire one day. And your pension will be your benefits. Right? So we shouldn't be afraid of the coming tax. Nigerian tax act, don't be afraid. That's why we are here to preach that knowledge gap for the taxpayer. We are preaching the knowledge gap. And that is what we are doing in this video. That make sure you register for your tax. Have your tax identification number. And the good news now is this. The tax authority have made it that your NIN, if you don't have existing tax identification number, your NIN will now serve for your tax identification number. But of course, you need to be onboarded on your e-tax platform for your tax remittances. That is for individual. Your NIN will be used as your tax identification number if you don't have existing tax identification number. While for businesses, their CAC registration number will now serve as their own tax identification number. Then of course, you need to be onboarded on the tax pro max to file your tax. So when you file your tax, it is at that time that it will now be clear that, oh, this person is within the threshold of not paying tax. You are within the threshold of not paying tax. So you didn't need to run away from tax. And when you are compliant, when you are filing your tax, you are compliant. You'll be eligible for your tax clearance certificate. You'll be eligible for contracts for businesses. Because businesses are now aware that if they deal with unregistered business, if you are dealing with an unregistered business, definitely you will be fined 5 million. And nobody wants to be fined with 5 million naira. It is a whole lot, right? Just make sure that you are tax compliant, register for your tax. And if you are within the threshold of not paying, just file it. You file new, you are not paying. It will not harm you. And you have your tax clearance card, you have your tax record, tax information, which will be a benefit to you in one way or the other. So these are the reliefs that you will be enjoying, right, if you are within the threshold of not paying tax. So we will not be talking about the current tax act because that one is ending in 2 days time. We won't be talking about that one. We'll be talking about the one that is ahead of us, the Nigerian Tax Act, which has already you know, it is already here with us. Yes, it's already here with us. So that is why we are preparing you ahead as individual taxpayer. And if you are doing side hustles, right, just file your tax. You can still be enjoying all this statutory deduction. Yes, you can still be enjoying it. Because if your organization that you are working file your tax for, of course you yourself too, you need to file your own tax. Because organization will file their own tax, and you individual taxpayer, you will also file your own tax. Definitely you are going to file your own tax. While the organization where you are working as individual taxpayer, they will file their own tax from, of course they have remitted your tax for you from January to December on a monthly basis. They must file your own tax for you in your organization on or before 31st of December of the following year. So all the deductions that have been made from your employment as pay as you earn this year 2025, the organization must remit it in this coming year 2026 on or before 31st of December 2026. Failure to file the tax, they will slam them with a penalty. They will slam them with a penalty, and it will not be good. The year is just starting and the tax authority are already slamming you with penalties. So we don't want you to be slammed with penalties. That's why we are preparing you ahead of 2026. It is already here. Keep all your record as individual taxpayer. Keep all your records. Yes, register for your tax. Keep all your records, because it is those records that we use to file for your tax. So we are here to help and bridge the knowledge gap for you. Of course, we also serve as a tax consultant, external auditor, business consultant. So if you need our service in any way or the other, you can reach out to us. We are your growth business support partner. Yes, we don't want you to be slammed with 5 million. It's a whole lot. You can use that 5 million to improve your business in one way or the other. You don't want the tax authority. Of course, we have experience of so many taxpayers that the tax authority have to lock their business because of non-compliance. Non-compliance. What is non-compliance? You are not filing your tax. It's when you file your tax, yeah, you are not eligible to pay tax. Yes, the tax authority will know you are not eligible. And if you are eligible, you pay the tax that you are eligible for. For example, now in this Nigerian tax 2026 that is coming 1st of January in 2 days time, right? The first 800,000 after you have, because we want you to understand this, because we've encountered taxpayer that said, this tax that is coming, it is not to the advantage of citizen. I said no, it is to the advantage of citizen, because the tax that is being deducted is not from your total income. No, it is not for, because taxpayers are not getting it right. They thought that the tax will be from their total income. No, somebody have approached us before that, how many percentage am I paying on my income? I said no, it's not percentage, because after you earn your revenue, your income, you are going to remove your statutory deduction that we have mentioned to you, the pension, the NHF, the NICITF, the insurance, and one other one that we mentioned. You remove it. Then you also remove your rent relief, which is 20% or maximum of 500,000. Whichever one is lower, it's either 20% or maximum of 500,000. You reduce it from your income. right? When you reduce it from your income, it is whatever that is left, that will now be used to calculate your tax, whether you are eligible or you are not eligible. So if you are eligible, right, you just pay the portion that you are eligible for. So it is this knowledge gap that people are not aware of, that we want people to be aware of, because the tax that you are running away from, you may not even be paying that tax. Yes, you only need to file. You only need to file. So when you file, you will now know that you are not eligible. For example, now after all the deduction, and the first 800,000 is exempted. The first 800,000 is exempted. The 800,000 that is left is after the whole deduction. You can even be earning 2 million annually, and what is left is even 800,000 after all the statutory deduction that we have mentioned, which is still to your benefit. And at the end of the day, you may not even be paying tax. So you don't need to run away from tax. Don't run away from tax. Be compliant and you will be fine. Because it is when you are compliant that your business will be visible to investors, to customers, to partners, to stakeholders. You know, that will help your business to be visible. And it's not a good thing, of course, for some businesses that are operating and they are not, some businesses are operating and they are not even registered. Some businesses are operating and they are not registered. You are doing business, your business is not even registered. That is the first foundation. It is a big blow for your business. You will not be visible. And this coming Nigerian tax at 2026 in 2 days time, in fact, it is not to your advantage at all, because you are not even compliant. So that's why we are bridging this knowledge gap for you, that you need to be tax compliant. Tax compliant. It is a strategy for your business. When you are tax compliant, it is a strategy for your business. It will help your business a whole lot. You qualify for so many things as individual taxpayers, as corporate taxpayer. So the first 800,000 is exempted. The next 2.2 million, if you have that at all, because of course the percentage is 0%, and which is for the first 800,000 is at 0%. The next percentage is 15%. So imagine, let's even assume that it is 800,000 that is left. So after that 800,000, let's say it's 50,000. The first 800,000 is exempted. The remaining one is 50,000, and that will be charged at 15%. And that is just 15,000 naira. So it is small. It is insignificant. It's 7.5. Sorry, 7.5%. That's 7.5 for the 15%, because 10% of 50,000 is 5,000. So the 15% is 7.5. So is this 7.5 that will make you not to be compliant in a whole year? So what you are running, it is fear. Fear. People are always afraid. And thank God for Mr. Taiwo Oyewole and his team. They are making sure that they are enlightening people. You don't need to be afraid. And people are even calling for this Nigerian tax to be suspended. It doesn't need to be suspended. It's for the good of the taxpayer. We have looked into it critically that this is the benefit of taxpayer. Imagine if you are a limited liability company and your revenue, total revenue for a year is 50 million and below. You are even exempted from company income tax. The only tax that you will not be paying is for your employees, and maybe VAT. If you are charging VAT, you may not even charge VAT because you are not even you are not up to the threshold. You may not even be charging VAT on your invoice. So the only thing you will now be doing is to be filing nil return. You file nil return for your VAT. You onboard on tax formers, do all your tax registration, and you be filing nil, and you be compliant. So being tax compliant, as we always say in all our YouTube video, is cheaper. To be non-compliant is expensive. We've had clients that have reached out to us on the issues that they're having with the tax authority because of non-payment of tax. And they may not necessarily be paying tax, but because they are not compliant, they are not filing. If you are not filing, that's the first thing, you are not compliant. But when you file, you are compliant. And when you are above the threshold, then of course you now pay the percentage that is left on your profit. So for businesses, it is only on their profit that they will be paying tax. Only on their profit that they will be paying tax. It's only on their profits. So if you don't have profit, or at the end of the day, the profit that is left as maybe business name, because business name are filing as individual taxpayer, personal income tax. It is the same way as individual taxpayer for business name, because they are business and they themselves, they are together. There's no legal entity, no separate entity. But for limited, they have a threshold of 550 million and below. They are exempted. But the only cost that they will now be involved in incurring is their audited account, because you need to prepare audited account, and that's why we are here to help you with all those compliances. You need to prepare your audited account. If you don't have in-house accountant, you can serve as your outsourced accountant. And if you need tax consultants, you can serve as your tax consultant. So we can help you. We are your growth business support partner. We don't want you to fold out of business. We don't want your business to, you start business now, your business has folded because of issues with the regulatory authorities. Some people are not even filing their annual returns after 18 months of incorporation. They have had clients reaching out to us that they've not filed their CAC annual return from inception. The CAC that is the foundation of your business, you are not even filing for it, and that is a serious issue. So for you to be ready for this Nigerian tax 2026, you need to register for your tax, and you need to keep all your tax records and information, because that is what will help you. This is what will help you to stay compliant. So the first 800,000 is tax exempted. The next 2.2 million, if there is anything at all, is at 15%. The next 9 million is at 18%. The next 30 million, 21%. The next 25 million is 23%. And above 50 million is 25% for individual taxpayers. So the percentage ranges from 0% in this coming tax for individual taxpayer to 15%, to the next 15%, to the next 18%, to the next 21%, to the next 23%, and then 25%. So make sure you are ready, you are compliant. Like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we'll be bringing you videos that will help you to stay compliant in this Nigerian tax act 2026 that is coming 1st of January. So we at TOSJOHN Consulting, we are accounting audit firm, professional consulting firm. You can reach out to us. I'm Oluwatosin, I'm a chartered accountant. You can reach out to us to be your growth business support partner, to work with you to stay compliant and avoid penalties, because all those penalties you can use to improve your business and scale your business. So we are rooting for your business. Let's work together in this year 2026 to help you stay compliant and to avoid issues with the regulatory authorities. If you have not done your end of the year closing, this is the right time to start doing it, because from January you need to start filing for taxes, for CAC, and your business regulatory compliance. So subscribe to our YouTube channels, share, comment, like. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, prosperous business growth year, money making year, compliance year, and we are rooting for you. So reach out to us and we'll be willing and ready to work with you. So until we come in your way in another live session videos, you can watch all our videos. We have the Nigerian Tax Act that we have dissected for you from part 1 to 8. You can watch it and all our other videos that will help your business. So reach out to us. Let's work together and avoid issues with the regulatory authorities so that your business will keep scaling and you can make it investors ready. So annual return filing for organization for their employees is on or before 31st of January 2026. For individual taxpayer filing is 90 days after their accounting year end. For companies, their CAC is already due for filing. You can start filing now for 2025. And we are CAC accredited agents. You can reach out to us on all your business registration, annual filing, and other compliances. So thank you for listening to us in this video. Stay compliant, keep enjoying yourself, and be ready for 2026. So bye for now and stay compliant.